Critical thinking, or logic, logical reasoning, at its very core, at its most basic, is common sense. It is the thought process that we go through not only when we do things, but when we consider things. It's the cognitive process that leads us to a conclusion. When you turn a doorknob and pull, you expect the door to open. So when you do that, subconsciously, not at the very top of your mind, you're thinking, if I turn this knob and I pull, this door will open. That is critical thinking. That's a logical conclusion that you're drawing there. Now, what happens if you turn the knob and the door doesn't open? Well, now more critical thinking has to come into play. So it's a reasonable conclusion that the door is locked. Or if you're me, it could also mean that it's a push door and you're pulling on it. Critical thinking also means anticipating needs and helping with understanding. So another example, I received an email once that said, I'm paraphrasing here, hey, could you attend one of the 6 meetings we have set up next week? The email didn't contain locations, times, modality for the meetings. So the critical thinker, when sending that email, would go through a process that says, okay, if I'm going to invite this person to come to one or all of 6 meetings, well, logically, I need to inform him when those meetings are. Otherwise, he will not be able to answer me. So critical thinking really is a huge part of effective communication. The critical thinker says, can you attend one of the following, or any of the following, or all of the following 6 meetings we have coming up, and then a list of those meetings, their location, their modality, so the receiver can look, check their calendar, and get the information back. This sounds like a no-brainer. And it really is. A lot of critical thinking is not brainless, but is just thought that comes to us without us even realizing it. When that is lacking, that's when we can get ourselves into trouble. Now, critical thinking comes up into much larger levels too, when we get into really deep logical reasoning. Logic proves to us the existence of a higher power. There are many logical proofs that philosophers have asserted over the centuries to prove the existence of God. We don't have time to get into those now. But that's the level to which logic and critical thinking can apply to regular human life. The critical thinking process, the logical reasoning process, is something that can be learned. It starts, though, when we're babies, maybe a little older than babies. I don't know, like kid ages, but maybe around the age of 1-ish, when we don't know very much and we understand even less. But when the baby touches a hot stove and gets burned, they do a little process in their head. Okay, if I touch that again, it will hurt. I don't want to get hurt. Therefore, if I don't touch that, I won't get hurt. It sounds like a complex process, and it is, but it happens that quickly because we have that innate ability to do some basic critical thinking. If I crawl to the top of the stairs and mom yells at me, I'm not going to crawl to the top of the stairs again because I don't want to get yelled at, because that makes me feel bad. Now, is that the reason? No, the reason is it's not safe for a baby to crawl to the top of the stairs because they can fall down and hurt themselves. But the baby is still doing that logical thinking. As we get older, we do a little bit more logical reasoning, the door example. And if we practice critical thinking, we can become really good at it. That makes us effective communicators. It makes us good writers. It makes us effective in our jobs. In the educational process, particularly in higher education, our critical thinking is challenged constantly. And it doesn't matter what we study. The humanities, the sciences, STEM, it doesn't matter, because critical thinking is involved in all of that. And good instructors and professors on the college level will challenge a student's critical thinking without them even realizing it.